It's MisterLaxx. I'm actually doing a really cool video, and I hope this turns out really well. But I'm gonna probably call it like the Under the Hood series, and what I mean by that is um, it's gonna be under the hood of like the strategy and what my mind thinks about as we're doing like attacks and stuff. So biggest thing here is just like how I attack, what I use for attacking, what's going on in my mind, how I'm seeing the battle, and the really cool thing is that I found this overlay tool that lets me draw on the screen. Yay! So I can just draw on the screen and like ping. I can show you like this, like just cool stuff, right? So I can do that, and I can actually even do it while the video is playing and slow the video down and then show you. But I'm gonna do it like just pause the video, draw on the screen, and that kind of like way. But anyways, welcome to my new Under the Hood series, and we're gonna get right into it. All right. So we're looking at this base here, and the biggest thing that gets me is I'm looking at how many catapults he has. All right, he's Gunpowder age, right? You can see it right here. That's the first thing that goes in my mind is where are the mortars, the cannons, the catapults? Catapults or mortars is technically the legal term. So I see one here, I see one here. So I'm like, okay, they're not grouped next to each other, which means that it's not like one spot is over pressured. They're evenly spread out. So this guy has some pretty good range. All right, I know that these catapults, if they take 2 shots, they'll destroy all my infantry. So I know that for sure. I can see that his let's see here. I can see that his what is this? Yeah, ballista is upgrading, so that's good to know. He's got a castle with a level 1 general. That's okay. That's good to know. I'm also looking at ranges about how far. So I think here in a second you'll see as I play the video. Yeah, so I start going up to the top part, and the way this base is laid out is it's kind of got this weird. It's got this like way where the base kind of flows like this in like a like a downward direction, So I kind of feel like I'm thinking right now if I'm going to attack based on the base layout, it's highly doubtful I'd come from this side or come from this side. I mean, I could probably come from this angle here, but if anything, I'll probably start like up here somewhere. So that's what I'm thinking, and I'll just flow right down and just flow right through the base. So that's that's the next thing that's going through my mind is where would I attack from. I'm looking at the level of towers he's got. These are level 4, so they do, I don't know, like what, 120 damage a piece, and that's not really that much damage, and they go down really quickly. The next thing I look at is his unique unit, which is the French, which means that out of here, depending on what level this is, unique unit would spawn. So this was the Koreans or the Chinese or the British, mostly the Koreans and the British. I would want to take this out pretty quickly because those guys are really obnoxious. Yeah, so that's the biggest threat. The biggest threat is where the catapults / mortars are, and then obviously where the ballistas were. I do take into account the towers, and then I look for what this unit right here has. So that being said, we've got, let me see here. That being said, we've got we're looking at it. Then the next thing that gets me is this guy has a lot of loot. That's the only reason that I really looked at this, and I was like, okay, I can see that these are out here, these are out here, they're out here. He's got a mill, or he's got gold down here. Okay, really, the way I'm looking at this right now is there is no bottom pressure right now. Like, there is no pressure if I were to start from the bottom, which I could have started from the bottom, but I decided to start from the top, as you'll see in a second. But if I drop like a general down here later on in the battle, I was like, okay, there's like nothing down here that could stop me. Like, the general can one-shot these, the general can probably 3-shot these, the general can tank enough damage to kill this. Like anything, there's no defensive structure in the bottom. So if I'm going through the middle of the base and I decide, I need to hurry up and get someone to clean up the edge of the base, like clean up all of these buildings, I'd send a general in, and I can do it, and he'd be fine and protected. So that's another thing that was going on through my mind. So yeah, we're going through, we're looking at it. So then here's the next thing I start doing, right? Is I'm thinking, okay, how am I gonna spawn my troops, right? Well, the biggest thing is we've got this right here, right? It's gonna destroy a lot of my infantry if I dropped all my infantry, and they got like I think this guy's range would probably be about like here. So about this range. So pretty much the starting point for me would be here. So and the reason I would pick this is because I could clear this, clear this, clear this, clear this, clear this with like archers and like cannons, right? So you got the mortar's range will be probably about here. So I'm thinking, okay, I can't spawn infantry or cannons. If I spawned the cannons, I could probably drop the cannons here. But one thing about dropping cannons first is if the guy has defenders that come out of the forests, they're gonna kind of spawn in certain areas. They would destroy your cannons first, and that's just something I've learned. Sometimes I'll drop cannons, and there's situations where I can get away with it, but this is a situation I didn't want to take a risk, especially with all the loot we had. I wanted to keep my soldiers alive and get this massive amount of loot. So I was like, okay, we'll probably spawn all the horsemen, right? So we're gonna spawn 4 horsemen, right? Let's just talk about the horsemen for a second, the lancers, all right? They're the second. I think they're. What was I saying about the second? I don't know what I was saying about the second. My mind just went blank. Anyways, they're the whole point of them is they go directly for defensive buildings. So you know how I saw earlier there was like that ballista was, getting upgraded. That means it wasn't going to be active. So I was like, great, I don't have to deal with that. That's awesome. So the other thing is they go for a defensive building. So they go for this kind of stuff, you know. So my thing is if I drop them all right here, they're all probably going to come down here and take this guy out, right? And the cool thing is that this tower right here has a range of about here, a little bit more than that ish. So if they come, if the horsemen were to gather up right here, these guys would be firing at them, these guys would most definitely be firing at them, and then the catapult would definitely be firing at them. So now I've got my distraction. So I'm like, okay, I got a distraction now. So these 4 guys right here, I want them right in this spot right here. So let's play the video out and we'll see that happen. Okay, here's another mistake I made that I definitely want to make a point of, alright? When you have mercenary camps, right, and you especially when you have something like a war elephant, what you want to do is you want to drop the war elephant first. And the reasoning behind it, the strategical reasoning, is because war elephants, like mercenaries, it's like a one-trick pony, you could say. You use them one time in battle. If they survive, you still lose them. If you lose them, they still, obviously you lose them. So the biggest thing is you want to put them in danger before you put any of your other troops in danger, because they're you can't bring them back like you can with the other stuff. There's a term for that. They're dispensable, I guess you could say. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, they're scarce. I don't know. But the whole point is that you don't get them back after the battle. So might as well throw them in, and they have a lot of HP. They have as much HP as the lancers and as much damage. So it's like having an extra lancer that you bought from the mercenary camp. So go ahead, and I would always recommend dropping these guys in first. Okay. So I should have dropped these in. This is a mistake dropping him last, because that provides really like no that doesn't really utilize them to the fullest extent. So doing that, moving on from that. Oh, whoopsies. What did I do just now? Okay, cool. I'm sorry. Press the wrong button again. So play the video out. And okay, so here we go. Now the next thing is breaking it down. I drop all the archers. Why do I drop them in a huge line like this? Well, I want them to start putting fire on different buildings, and there's 30 of them. So I'm pretty sure if I dropped them all in one spot, they could probably do it together. But I wanted to spread them out. I just like spreading the archers out. For any reason that this guy right here should fire at the archers or anything like that, then them being spread out is just, better. Also, I wanted to like shotgun this. I wanted to get everything, all the buildings down at once, right? So go ahead and play the video out. Get the shotgun effect. They're all firing at different buildings. Then we went ahead and dropped the healers next. And why the healers, not the cannons? I could have dropped the cannons, but I went ahead and dropped the healers because these guys right here are taking some damage, and they're not gonna get through this wall anytime soon. You see that? How it's like literally a quarter health? Drop the healers. Drop them. what they're gonna do is they're gonna come in and they're gonna heal from a distance, right? This guy right here already having his, you know, already dropping bombs. This guy already firing. This guy already firing. So you definitely, they're taking damage. You want to make sure that they can, you know, heal through it somewhat. So go ahead and drop the healers in. And you can see, actually, what I showed earlier, the range was wrong. You can drop them here, and they have a +5 range like archers do and cannons do. So they were able to heal from that distance, which is really good. They're out of danger. They're also with the infantry, which is really, really key. But they're also healing these guys, which is also a big boost. And now they can tank all of this damage, all of this and this. By the way, catapult/mortars don't do much damage to heavy, to knights. Archer towers do medium damage, and then obviously ballista/cannon towers do the most damage, alright? So, that being said, you know, like I said, drop the healers in so these guys can get healed, because we're doing enough damage right here as it is, and I figured, okay, we can do that. Notice the 4 horsemen right here? Yeah, so they're going to be coming up, and you'll see exactly that this guy had the, you know, defenders, so that's kind of why, another reason why I dropped the archers first. Because these guys, these 4 guys right here could have spawned up here somewhere. Never know. So that's also really good to note. So now we're coming in, and I'm seeing the battle. Okay, now let's describe the bomber. Let's talk about the bomber for a second, all right? I'm looking for a place to bomb, but the thing about the bomber is that towers, castles especially, and then readouts, and then if you're industrial age, it would be anti-tank guns. Or I'm sorry, not anti-tank, anti-air guns, which you'll see that they have like a little hole, and they got like this like little cool like machine gun thing that's the sound, it just points up at the sky. But for, you know, the point of this video, the biggest threats are gonna be these guys here, these guys, and then this castle here. This castle does 1.5 times damage of this, you know, of this tower. So I definitely want to watch out where I'm bombing. Also, when the bomber comes in, he's going to come in from the shortest point. So, like, if I were to ping this, I think he's going to come from the bottom down here and then bomb it like this. I think it comes from the edge of the screen or something. I don't know. But, you know, he's going to come in, and I don't know the mechanic, whether he decides to turn this way or he decides to turn this way. But when I'm thinking about it, you know, there's a castle here. So if I were to bomb this, I would be okay with taking a few shots from the tower and maybe going down to like a quarter health if I needed to, because that's worth it. I get rid of this pressure, and then obviously this is upgrading. So that's what's going through my mind. I'm like, well, if I have to take the risk, I don't mind taking the risk. So we're looking at where we can start bombing, but we've already got, you know, a lot of stuff here going on. So now the whole thing that's gone happen is that the cannons, these guys right here, I think they're right here, there's 2 right here and 1 right here, have already gone ahead and fired and killed this guy, and they've killed this guy. So now we've got the 4 horsemen. They're coming here. Like I said, they go for defensive buildings, so they're going to try to come in and kill this guy right here. Then the mortar here is already attacking these guys, and then these guys from range are going to group up and try to kill this guy right here. I know it's a lot of drawings, so I'm trying to work on this a little bit. So go ahead and play it out. And then the other thing about infantry is when archers fire at units, there's units that get, like any unit, really, any unit. It's like any unit that gets hit is going to go find the target of origin and attack it. So we're able to rip, or peel, as you would say, peel off these defenders from these guys. And that's what the archers do. They go in and they just destroy these guys. So that's another really cool thing that we're able to do. There you see that. The power of cannons. You see this one guy right here? Boom. 1 shot. There we go. 1 shot that guy. That was awesome. So now I'm thinking, okay, this guy's 1 shot. What can we do here? Now at this point, I'm trying to figure out what I was thinking. I was thinking about bombing, but I saw that there's this here. There's, you know, there's let's see here. Can I pull this up again? I was thinking about bombing because, yeah, obviously this mortar is still going to be focusing this, but he is a big deal because he's behind 2 levels of walls. So I'm thinking, okay, I can either bomb him and take some damage from this guy and possibly this guy. I don't want to go through these 2 sections of walls, and I definitely don't want to lose too much health on the bomber. I want to keep the bomber healthy because they take 45 minutes to recharge and take like 15,000 gold, or food, sorry. So I was like, okay, well, let's pick a side. Are we gonna push the right side? You know, like ping everyone or rally everyone to the right side and then just work the right flank? or do we want to just work the left side? And I thought to myself, well, let's work the left side. The reason I want to pick a side is because the worst thing you can do, especially with this thing being behind so many like walls here, is get everyone caught in here and blown up right here. This is like the one spot you definitely don't want to be in. So I was like, I don't want to be in the walls like that. So I decided to rally everyone to over here where they're way out of the, the range of this mortar here. So I decided to rally them over here so that they wouldn't be in this guy's range. And then we started working on, destroying all these other buildings here, And, yep, we'll just see that happen in the next few seconds here. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm like, okay, pick a side. Pick a side. Which side are we going to go? We're not going to push the top. We're going to push the bottom or the left. You're not going to push the right. We're going to push the left. So we go ahead and rally. So that's another key thing about moving the army and keeping everyone together and alive is when to advance and when to retreat. I know that a lot of, maybe some really good players seeing this probably would have pinged right here so that this thing would have gotten destroyed immediately because I could have protected or sabotaged or something. But I wanted to keep all my troops and I wanted to kind of keep from a distance. And if I could destroy this tower, I could maybe destroy this tower with the bomber and then bomb this. So that's what's going through my mind. So I went ahead and I pinged everyone, so everyone's going to travel to this spot. This is going to go down. All of this stuff is going to go down really quickly, right? So there we go. Go ahead, get the rally in. Now we're just making sure that no one's getting hurt, just looking at, just seeing what's going on. Any traps, so I can see what's going on with my army, so I could, see if we lost anybody. So here we go. Okay, so this next part, right? We got the top half of the map covered, all right? We've got the bomber pressure. We've got one mortar that doesn't really have anyone in range. We've got, look at the clock. We've got 2 minutes and 19 seconds left, right? Remember earlier when I said when I was looking at this base, I was looking for any sort of bottom side pressure, like if I dropped a general or if I dropped, I don't know, anything, a bomber to clean up the bottom half because this is a pretty, it's a pretty big base. So I was thinking, okay, well, let's just drop the general somewhere like in this vicinity, like somewhere in here, right? So then the general will come in, start taking these buildings out like this. When these guys right here spawn in like 10 seconds, I think, the general can literally one swipe all of them, just one shot them all, and then we'll go in and kill this. You see how this tower is upgrading? That's also another key thing. If my general decided to move up to this section right here, then, obviously this thing wouldn't be able to fire. This mortar right here wouldn't do that much damage to my general, and obviously I can still bomb it, so I was thinking, all right, we're in a good spot. Let's just drop the general and have the general start early cleanup duty, all right? You're going to show up for your shift a few hours early. It's no big deal, dude. So we went ahead and bombed started bombing some of these farms, why not? Just help with the cleanup. Like the bomber's just sitting there. The bomber's literally just sitting here, not doing much. So I was like, well, let's get him something to do. Give him some tasks, some easy stuff, But then again, you send the bomber out, and then by the, with the time it takes him to travel and come back, it's probably about 20 seconds, maybe 15, 20 seconds. So I can't just like, I could just sit there and like bomb the whole thing, but getting a general actively going in would also speed the process up. So that's the next thing. I dropped the general down at the barracks, down at the bottom part, so she can work on that. Because we got this army here, and what's going to happen with the army is going to be able to just clear all of this section out like this. So I could just start the, I can just start up. Let me see if I can rewind that a little bit. I could just start the general right here and have her go in and clear like all of this stuff right here, right? Which is a big deal, because we're clearing, all of this with, bomber pressure and obviously what we got with our army. So that's also another thing that's going through, and I was like, okay, we got this. So we go ahead, drop Joan of Arc there, and then here we go. We rallied everyone here, and then like, the description says, these guys are gonna go ahead and attack defensive units, right? The reason I decided to rally this far back is because the way it works is archers and all these guys tend to move a little bit quicker than these guys. So they're going to move, like once you rally, these guys right here, this majority of this circle right here is going to move up a little bit more. But there was a giant like wonder here, so they had to take the wonder down, and then they were just standing around, and then they had to pause and then move over again, which gave these guys, again, the opportunity to be the front line. So Now they're taking damage from this. We got this guy who's spawning stuff and this guy. The cool thing is, because there's a gate here and a gate here, these guys are going to have to literally walk all the way around like this to target these guys. And then also the archers have more opportunity to start picking these guys off, which keeps these guys as the main attention for the mortar, okay? So that's also what was going through my mind here, okay? So now we're just looking to make sure that our janitor is, you know, cleaning and having to... She's got no pressure down here. I'm like, okay, she's doing just fine. Next thing I do is get the bomber, and I decide to bomb this guy. The reason I waited a little bit was because you see this right here, 3-4 seconds, he's gonna spawn. The splash damage from the bombs will kill all the infantry that spawns from this. So that'll leave her not having to spend an extra 3, 4, or 5 seconds trying to deal with all the infantry here that'll come out, which is like 4 or 5 guys. So that'll leave her, you know, kill this, kill this, kill this, you know, all this stuff. She'll just clear it like it's, you know, like it's butter. Just knife through butter, right through all of that stuff. That's what generals do. They have a lot of damage and they have a lot of hit points. So we go ahead, we bomb this. You'll see all the infantry spawns, and boom, none of them live to tell the tale. And we blew it all in one hit. So now we're looking at what else we can do. The infantry, let's see here. Infantry here are getting a little bit too close, but they do have the 5 range, so I do believe they should be able to target this. So I'm okay with that because there's only a few of them. But the most you know, damage is still being hit on these guys, and then these guys in this little wave right here are getting a little bit close. So I was thinking about rallying them a little bit back, but I was like, no, we got this. They're gonna take out the town center, which we don't get the quick victory, because in order to get the quick victory, you have to do it in the first minute. Either get 50% of all the buildings destroyed in the first minute, or get the town center destroyed in the first minute. So same thing with Forbidden City. Get the Forbidden City and the town center destroyed in the first minute. We didn't do that, so that's where all of these are going. And based on the damage that I'm seeing, I'm like, they're gonna take it down pretty stinking quickly. So we're doing pretty good. We're looking at our general, just seeing what's going on. We got some knights coming out. All right, so here's the thing. Here's the next one, right? Is bombing this guy right here. The biggest thing I have to deal with, especially at the angle he's coming with, is dealing with the castle, okay? Since the bomber technically counts as a unit, once it gets in the range of the castle, it's going to spawn the general, and it's also going to take damage. I don't think this bomber took damage, but it should have. Anyways, we blew this guy up in one shot because he's got a lot of power. He's pretty much like the biggest threat right now that could destroy us. The castle, not really, because we can kill it from range, and the general, not really, because it's a level 1 general and we have 30 archers left. So this guy is in just a really good place of power, because you know, these 4 guys are gonna come kill this guy, and then they're gonna walk over and kill this guy, and the army is probably gonna filter through and start like trying to blow this up and, you know, help with blowing this stuff up, and they're probably, you know, gonna do that. So this guy's in a really big position right here with where the battle's going. So decided to bomb him, get rid of that pressure he has, and that way we can clear the map up, you know, have like not have a runny nose, have a clear nose. That'd be great. These horrible analogies, I know, I'm sorry guys, I need to stop. So we went ahead, we bombed him, and you see, it's, what is that? That's Cleo? That's Cleopatra. Okay, yeah, based on the picture, I was correct. Yeah, so Cleo's gonna come out, level 1 Cleo. Oh god, so scary, guys, run. So, Cleo's coming out. You can see that the general, let's screw that up a little bit. You can see the general down here. You see that one swipe? I don't know if you saw that. Like, I'll try to rewind it in just a second. That general, just that damage. You see that damage? She literally took out this guy. He was at about this much health. So she took out, like, that's about, like, I don't know, maybe a little bit less than 30%. So that's a lot of damage. And there's only one guy. So she's definitely going to be able to come in and clean this up. So, yeah. You're going to have, with the army, like I said, you're going to have a bunch of guys coming this way, and then you're going to have a bunch of them going up that way to clear. They're going to split a little bit. So we're doing pretty good right now. And, yep. Coming in, we're killing all that. Biggest thing here is Then again, like I said, the general, I think, will attack any unit. That's the way they work. And so our front line is doing their job, and they're doing it really well. And we still haven't lost the elephant yet. You can see the elephant head right here. But yeah, we got all these archers. They're targeting the general, and then the general's gonna be like, "Oh, you're gonna come, attack us." So we're, that's what's gonna happen. So the general's gonna go down pretty quickly. Actually, let me look at that in a little bit. So the archers are attacking the general, right? But then the general was attacking the tanks. So I think what happened there was that the tanks were attacking the general, and the general was attacking the tanks, and then the archers were wearing the general down. So yeah, it's kind of like the front line kept the general there. Sorry, I must have seen that wrong. So that's the correction. So that was able to, that was really good that we had this army here to go ahead and back up these guys here, because these guys would have died if it was just them versus the general. So that being said, that's good. General dies. We got this general down here. She's cleaning up, doing some cleanup duty. Next thing is let's see here. Where are you at? Is bombing this guy. Why would I want to bomb this tower? Why the tower? You said Lax. You said earlier the towers do damage. Well, what I've learned with bombers is that level 4 and level 5 towers can get bombed in one shot, and they don't do enough damage to really kill the bomber. They probably do maybe like 30% of the bomber's health. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna bomb this guy, and then when this guy goes down, we can use the bomber to help clean up all of this junk here. So that's what I decided to do. So you'll see it right here. It'll happen. Bombs away, kills this guy instantly, and there you go. About 1/3 health right here. About 1/3 health. So there you go. Then the castle dies, and at this point we own the map. Like, actually before this point we owned the map, but we decided to send the bomber in for the farm. I should have picked something else because I should have known that I was gonna blow up, but it's all right. The whole point is we did that correctly, and we didn't lose anything there, did we? Nope, we didn't lose anything there. Look at that beautiful loot. Isn't that pretty? That's some pretty loot. So that's how I did that. And then just kind of with positioning and just the way AI works and what their favorite targets are, I was able to go ahead and destroy that guy. All right, let's see here. We're still talking about this. All right, here's another battle to do. I'll try to speed the